my friends. Today we are airing the discussion on the literary works of Dr. Ananda Bose, organized by Global TV, anchored by Shri Lal Goyal. The expert panelists are Justice C.V Joseph, former Justice of the Supreme Court of India, Srimati Nirmala Kaur, IPS, retired, former DGP of Jharkhand, and Soma Abraham, former principal, Kendriya Vidyalaya. She is also the editor and translator of the books of Dr. Ananda Bose. Dr. Bose also answers the questions put forth by Sri Lal Goyal. Over to the discussion.
We are going to discuss the literary contributions of Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose. I would like to introduce Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose, IAS. To his credit, 300 publications, including 45 books in English, Malayalam, and Hindi novels, short stories, and essays. 4 of his books have become bestsellers. One book of his on housing received prestigious the Sharjah International Book Fair Award. Dr. Bose is an housing expert, innovator, writer, orator, and visionary. Now, before we will go to Dr. Bose, I would like to introduce and invite Justice C.V Joseph. Justice Joseph, he became a judge of Supreme Court of India on 7th July 2008, and he served as the judge in Supreme Court till 27th January 2012. Honorable Justice Joseph was appointed as Lokayukt Kerala for a period of 5 years with effect from 28th March 2019. Honorable Justice Joseph, we would like to hear from you the literary contributions of Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose. Honorable Justice C.V Joseph, please.
Mr. Lal Goyal, Ms. Nirmal Kaur, Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose, I had the privilege and opportunity to read his books in different languages and different forms of literature. But I don't wish to speak about any particular book or books of Dr. Ananda Bose. I prefer to speak about his literary contributions in general. When I was young, my father told me to inspire me to become a good speaker. Quote, a poet is born, but an orator is made. My father explained, to become a poet, you must have some inborn talents. But if you want to become an orator, you can make it by hard work. I think it is equally applicable to a writer involved in any form of literary work. In my view, a writer is also born. There is no doubt that Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose is a born writer. Writing is natural to him. He has an inborn talent to write. He has a creative instinct. That is why he could write so many books in different languages, in different forms of literature. Literature is not only a means of expression of the writer. It's not only an expression, a means of expression for the writer. It also serves or it should serve as a tool to inform, to educate, to entertain, to inspire, to console, or to motivate the people around him. Then only he becomes a true and genuine writer. The books of Dr. Ananda Bose demonstrate that they are his tools to inform, to entertain, to inspire, to console, and to motivate the people around him in the society. When I was in the school, the teachers used to tell me, one can be known by the company he keeps. So take care of your friends. Be careful in choosing your friends. I believe that a writer can be known by the books he writes. The personality and perceptions of a writer will be revealed by his books. From the books authored by Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose, I have known him as a dutiful citizen, a proud Indian, a research-oriented historian, a devout Hindu, a true Christian, a genuine secularist, and a missionary of unity, peace, and harmony in a pluralistic society like India. I said dutiful citizen. Under Article 51A of the Constitution, Article 51A G says, 51A J, clause J says, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. The books authored by Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose are testimony for his excellence in different parts of life. He has strived very hard towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, and thus proved that he has discharged his duties to the nation and to the society as a citizen of India. That's why I described him as a dutiful citizen. I said he is a proud Indian. He is a man who has traveled all over the world. He has seen many countries, known many cultures, met people of different religions and thoughts, developed, underdeveloped, and undeveloped countries were visited by him. In spite of all this, he loves his country and he is proud of being an Indian. And his endeavor is to make India a better India. That is what he is striving for. He has never, ever covered his pride as an Indian. Anywhere he went, or any platform he spoke, or any article he wrote. He has demonstrated that he is a proud Indian. I said that he is a research-oriented historian. Pardon me if I say there are historians and historians. Some historians depict history. Some historians manufacture history. Some historians twist and misinterpret history. In such a scenario, Dr. Ananda Bose has devoted much of his time to do research and find out about our nation, our history, our culture, our traditions. When I say our, it's not confined to Kerala. It is not confined to Malayalis and Kerala culture. It covers, encompasses all the states of India, all the religions of India, all the sections of people in this country. And he has tried to find out what is the truth and what is the real history. And he has also taken pains to write them down or to deliver lectures on those topics. I am impressed, not because he is an historian, but because he is a research-oriented historian who has respect for truth. It is our good fortune that we have got such historians also among our thinkers and writers. I said he is a true Christian. One may be wondering how he can be a true Hindu and a true Christian. In the Bible, there is a story, a parable, where when a master went abroad, he entrusted money with his servants. One was given 1 talent, second one was given 2 talents, third one was given 5 talents. He said, when he came back, he asked them, what were you doing? How are you? The one who got 5 talents came and told Jesus Christ, the master, that, Master, you gave me 5 talents. I started a business and did hard work, and I have increased it to 10. Please take this. He presented 10 talents to the master. The one who got 2 also said in similar terms, I worked hard, made 2, 4. Please take all the 4. It's with you. The one who got 1 told him, Master, I know that you are a very strict person and you would not appreciate my losing this point, this talent, or destroying it or wasting it. So I safely kept it there. And the 1 talent is safe and intact. Please take this. The parable says the master became angry with the third person, one who did not do anything. The 1 talent was kept intact without doing any work. And he congratulated and appreciated the other 2 who got 5 and who got 2 and gave them all the money. So Jesus Christ told his followers that don't waste your talents. Make use of them. Do hard work. Double it. And that is my message for you. That message of Jesus Christ is very sincerely followed and practiced by Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose. whatever talent he got, he was given by God. He has multiplied it, he has increased it, he did hard work, took pains, and he was able to produce excellence in every walk of life where he was involved. That way, that is not the only aspect of Christian teaching he is following, but I only pointed out this from the point of view of his literary contributions. I said he is a devout Hindu. Yes, yes, he is proud of his religion. He is a practicing Hindu, but he has also understood the significance of Hindu philosophy and its implications. And it did not stop him from embracing people of other religion, befriending people of other religions, helping people of other religions, supporting people of other religions, respecting the values of other religions. And that is what is special about him. These perceptions are very much reflected in his books, in his poems, in his essays, in his lectures. That's why I said he is a devout Hindu. He is a genuine secularist also. He say India is a secular country. The constitution exhorts all of us to be secular. But people have misconceptions about secularism. I don't want to speak on secularism now, but I have understood, I have realized from his books that Dr. Ananda Bose has understood the secularism which our constitution makers presented us. It was Dr. Radhakrishnan, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, our first vice president and second president, our philosopher president, who described secularism in a very simple, straight manner. Dr. Radhakrishnan said, secularism in India is not anti-God or anti-religion. It is equal treatment to all religions. I repeat, secularism in India is not anti-God or anti-religion. It is equal treatment to all religions. Dr. Ananda Bose has not only understood this, he has imbibed the spirit of it, and he has practiced this secular spirit, and he has conveyed it to his readers, his listeners, through his books and his lectures. Finally, I said he is a missionary of unity, peace, and harmony in a pluralistic society like India. You know what is the saying about when I say missionary, it has so many implications. It is more than, it's much better than being a prophet. A prophet will speak for it or speak about it. But a missionary is one who imbibes the spirit of what he speaks. A missionary is one who puts into practice the principle he promotes. The missionary is one, he will make sacrifices, including sacrifice of his life, for the principle he stands for. That is what is a real missionary. That's why I use the expression missionary instead of prophet for Dr. Ananda Bose. He's a missionary of unity, peace, and harmony in a pluralistic society like India. With that missionary zeal, he continues to write. He continues to speak. He continues to meet people and share ideas with them. He continues to motivate them to live in peace and harmony in our great nation. All these are clear from his books, from his poems, his lectures. I do not wish to refer to any particular book because this is reflected in rather every book of his, every poem of his. And one beautiful thing about Dr. Ananda Bose's books, at least some of them, depending on the subject, he tries to tell the readers what is our culture, what was our culture, what is our culture, and what was our tradition, our fathers, our forefathers, our earlier generation or generations, what they thought and what they said and what they did. The significance of it, even a sentence. When I said, the teacher said, one is known by the company he speaks, he keeps. Like that, there are many old idioms which convey great meanings. He has chosen to identify those instances or thoughts or expressions and given life to it by writing about it or speaking about it in his lectures. Even I must say, I have studied much from his books about the culture of Kerala, about some of the traditions in Kerala, and I am sure it must be the same experience of people from other parts of this country also. I only pray to the God Almighty that Dr. Ananda Bose may be continued to be blessed in abundance so that through the literary work, let him serve, he can serve the nation and also the society for a much longer period. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Justice Joseph, for giving your very, very kind words. Now, I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and she is Miss Nirmal Kaur, IPS. Miss Nirmal Kaur, IPS, is the former Director General of Police, Jharkhand. Miss Nirmal Kaur, you have heard what our Honorable Justice Joseph has mentioned and about Dr. Bose writings. Now, we would like to know from you your views about the literary contributions of Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose. Miss Nirmal Kaur, IPS, please.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on your show to talk about Dr. Ananda Bose. Dr. Ananda Bose, the whole world knows him as an IS officer and a very senior bureaucrat, a very efficient, honest bureaucrat. But he is also a very, very creative writer. He has written so many books, so many, and in all forms of expression, like, poetry, prose, all forms of expression he's used. He's very well read, very well informed, and he feels the pulse. He's not airy-fairy. He's a very practical writer. He talks about the, very practical things, down-to-earth things. The way he depicts the poor, it shows that he's very, very, understanding of poverty, of their problems, of the poor. They're not only their economic problems, also the social, political, agrarian problems they have. He is a very well-read person. He expresses himself very well. He's a very good speaker also. I think recently he launched his own YouTube channel, which is, I congratulate him for that. But he has a lifetime full of contribution to the society. contribution not only as a bureaucrat, contribution as a literary man. He's a man of letters. He is very, he knows so many quotes. You know, he's all from anywhere from the literature, English literature, the Greek literature, he can quote, and his own Malayalam, and you know, he knows the Indian ethos also very well. On the Indian ethos, as Justice Syriac said, you know, he's a true Christian and also a very, very true Hindu. He can be everything because he's a very good human being. He's a very, very good human being to top it all. And that is what makes him a very sensitive writer. You know, he expresses himself very well. He's sensitive to the problems of the poor, of the emotional, you know, the way he expresses emotions in his books through his characters. It is very, very uncanny. I have read his books, and you know, I was really very impressed by his characterization of the people, how he characterizes people. You know, the narrator or the protagonists or the other characters, the side characters in his books, they all come out so vividly with the way he describes them. And not only that, through their problems, through their attachments, through their ambience, he also describes the society that they are living in. And that society he really you know, described so well that, like, you know, I have not lived in Kerala, or I have not lived in many of the places that his characters live in, but I can feel them. I can feel as if I'm living in those towns or those places, and I'm going through the experiences they are going through. He has this gift for expression. He's a, you know, this gift for expression, which is the mark of a highly creative writer, and he has devoted his energies very well. He's written quite a few books. I'm not sure of the numbers, but I think must be about 100, or at least half a 100, if not 100, maybe more. And whatever I have read, I found him very sensitive, very creative. And, you know, as a bureaucrat also, I've worked with him. I've seen him, that he comes across, and he, you know, how he goes out of his way to help the poor. And that he does through his characters also. And his real life, you know, has taken on the characters of his book. You know, he helps the suffering. He helps the suffering of the people. And, you know, the book, like one book I read, it was basically about an IS officer. One of the books that I read about of his, it was about an IS officer and his experiences, how he is posted in a district, and how a lady comes around there protesting against, you know, the administration, the establishment. I mean, through all the, you know, bringing up the poor. That lady comes for the cause of the poor, for the downtrodden. And then there is also a man there who's a cheat kind of a person, and how he rises to be a very big neta, and he somehow becomes a big minister and all that. So I found it really reverberates with reality also, that so many times we've seen, like in my village, there was a conductor. He used to, you know, even cheat in selling bus tickets. I don't know how you can cheat in selling bus tickets. But he went to become a representative of the people, and then later he became a minister also. So then I don't know how these people manage to do that, because they are not sincere, they are not honest, but they somehow rise up the rungs of power. And there are people like that who have risen up. And I met one of such characters in his book also, one person who had done that. And even the IS officer, of many types he describes. There's one, you know, who is a good type. There's another who's thoroughly corrupt, whose moral character is very low. And, you know, that is also, again, a reflection of reality. Amongst IS officers also, amongst the powerful bureaucrats also, we see all types. You know, it's, after all, it is a boundary, you know, your integrity, your personality, or your personal integrity, whether it is a physical integrity, or moral integrity, or intellectual integrity, or financial integrity, that is determined by your own morality. That I found out from his books, where he had described two IS officers. One was loose, you know, his own morality was so low, you know, whatever he was brought up with, or whatever his inner conscience was, that he was indulging in all kinds of immoral acts, money, women, everything. All the W's. And then there is this IS officer who has an impeccable integrity, who falls in love with that woman, you know, who is come to demonstrate, and, you know, she's perhaps teaching, or a journalist, and a college teacher also, and she's a journalist also. And then he marries that woman, and he's true to that woman despite all odds that go on in their lives, and how they carry on. And also, you know, when I saw the character of that woman, who is, very, she's a rebel. She comes out, that lady who's a journalist, she's a rebel. She's demonstrating against the society. She's demonstrating against all the establishment. Ki this is wrong, that is wrong. The poor are being taken for a ride. And the collector, this IS officer, sympathizes with her at heart. But because of his duty, he's not that able to help her, but he does his best to help her. And this lady he ends up getting married to because he falls in love with her. And when he falls in love with her, we see that there's a massive transformation of a human touch that comes in that lady also. A lady who's very hard and who's a rebel and who is a revolutionary. How she's touched by love and how she becomes very gentle. I mean, she doesn't leave her essence. She is again there. She is very much helping the society. She's a journalist. She's finding out about, she's helping the poor. She's helping whatever is wrong in the society. She's trying to improve. But she is also, she becomes, I mean, her touch becomes soft. She's a loving wife. She's a caring partner. That is one aspect of hers which you wouldn't see when you read her character before she gets married to this gentleman. So, the way he characterizes even these transformations in characters, as, their life story unfolds. When, new things happen to them, how they come around and how they change. This is one thing, which I found very, very, very touching, the way he describes and the way he describes the characters, builds them up, and how, when some events change their lives, how their personalities undergo transformation, how they change. All this he describes very, very well. So his books are an inspiration to everyone. Very down-to-earth books, down-to-earth person. It's very prolific. He's a prolific writer, and there's a copious topics and ideas that he deals with. He takes an incident from a local situations, travels through world mythology, Indian, Greek, Roman, Norse, African, traverses through world literature, history, contemporary affairs, and comes back to the rural setting from where he started. This universal journey, connecting, as T.S. Eliot would put it, nothing with nothing, gives a magical touch. To the writings of Dr. Bose, his writings hold infinity on the palm of the hand and eternity in an hour. As Shakespeare said, airy nothings, a local habitation and a name. Known for his penchant for humor, subtle and genial, Dr. Bose also causes boisterous laughter through his wit and wisecracks. His poems exude a rare warmth and understanding with the feelings and emotions of the marginalized sections of society. Dr. Bose portrays the characters from mythology, interpreting them in a way which appeals to the new generation. The villainous characters of the epics like Putana, Manthara are presented not as villains, but anti-heroines who have a mind of their own. He also makes the rat, the dog, the donkey, the big bug, the frog as protagonists of his poems. As far as essays grow, he dwells on a variety of topics. As one of the reviewers said, everything under the sun, including the sun, becomes topics of his statements in his beautiful essays. He has a simple, lucid, and arresting style. Profound subjects and complicated, complex concepts are presented in with clarity, so much so that the idea has become crystal clear to the readers who can go through his essays with effortless ease. One man with so many multifaceted personality, you can see how admired he is by all, one and all, whoever has met him, whoever has read his books, whoever has gone through his poems, gone through his essays. He's come across as a very, very stolid, strong, multifaceted personality, maybe a modern day Buddha or a modern day Christ, a modern day leader, a spiritual leader, not only spiritual, practical also, an all-in-one kind of a person who has it all. His poems have been recited by eminent singers and choreographed and presented on the stage by eminent dancers. I would stop here, but I'm sure I will be able to contribute a lot more given more time when Mr. Goyal comes back on his rebound to me after Dr.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Nirmal Kaur, for giving such a your views about Dr. Bose. I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and she is Ms. Soma Abraham. Ms. Soma Abraham retired as principal from Kendriya Vidyalaya, Thrissur. She received the Kendriya Vidyalaya Incentive Award for teachers in the category of vice principal. She is having teaching experience of 36 years. And she has not only read, but translated few of the books of Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose. So she knows about the writings the theme and the ideology with which Dr. Bose has written the book. Miss Soma Abraham, please.
Good morning to you all. I'm very happy to be a member of this panel. What I find unique about Dr. Ananda Bose is the way in which he narrates stories from the classics, the holy books of all religions, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Bible, the Quran, and so on. Being a Christian, I was really very much surprised to see that he has a great knowledge of the Holy Bible. He incorporates many incidents from the Bible. And I was very much interested to know that he is well versed and well read in all the religious books of our country. And our country, being a secular nation, it is a great message that he sends to the people of India through his writings, that we have to remain united and we have to show respect for all religions. Then another thing that I noticed is that he presents facts and fiction intertwined. He mixes illusion and reality in writing. And his personal experiences are narrated in such a way that it captures the interest of the readers. And being a native of Kottayam myself, I could see in my mind's eye the various experiences that Dr. Bose has expressed in his short stories. So there is a reality that every reader will find as a personal experience of his own when he reads his books. He is very well read in literature, not only English literature, but French literature and Russian literature, because in his short stories, he combines stories from other literature also in such a way that our curiosity, the curiosity of the reader, is aroused in such a way that he is interested to know more and more about those stories also which are presented from world literature. So naturally, a reader who is voracious to read will definitely be interested by the writings of Dr. Bose. Then I am just now doing the translation of his work, Rashtram Rashtriyam, from Malayalam into English. It is a very, very interesting book because it presents a collection of articles in the background of the pandemic COVID-19. And he has beautifully illustrated the way the pandemic has affected the lives of the people, not only in India, but all over the world. And in his writings, he brings out the greatness of mothers who were actually the managers of the household during the time of the pandemic. And he has also very clearly brought about the problems of the migrant laborers, the farmers, the poor people, and how these problems can be solved. He has suggested solutions which can be practically carried out to solve the problems faced by the COVID pandemic India. Then he paints a poetic picture of contemporary India. Whatever we experience now in the present times, that he has very well illustrated, that we can see that all these happenings are taking place in our country around us. He also has narrated his personal experiences in such a way that the reader feels it as a real life experience of what is happening around him. So on the whole, his writings are very, very unique in that he brings in his personal experiences and also his well-read knowledge of all the contemporary issues, not only in Kerala, not only in India, but all over the world. And his unique style, that is very much to be appreciated. That is, he mixes fiction and reality. He incorporates the world classics. He narrates stories from world literature, and he also intermingles myth, fiction, and reality in such a way that the readers are captivated to read more and more and to go deep into his writings. So I really appreciate this great writer, and I wish him all the very best. And he is a great asset, not only to the nation, but also to the world literature. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Abraham, for giving your kind words. And now I would like to invite our Man Friday, the main person today of our program, that is Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose. I would like to ask few questions to him, and he will describe, he will give the answers, and if he wants to add anything, that is, he's free to say. Dr. Bose, can you just tell our viewers how you have started writing?
I would say that it all happened as an accident, perhaps. I was district collector of Kollam, where we had the legendary editor and scholar, almost an acharya of Malayalam literature, Dr. N.V. Krishnavarya. So we used to go for various public meetings together. Once we were traveling in the car, Dr. N.V. asked me, "Collector, you speak very well. Why don't you write?" I gave the reply, "Sir, there is no time." And then he told me, writing does not need time if the mind is there. I think that was a turning point. Now I can also vouch for the fact you don't need time to write if you have the mind. Once an idea is born in the mind, it has to find its expression in the form of words, and writing is only that. So I started first writing a novel. I'm told it's a very difficult task to start a novel, because one of the Canadian writers who got the Nobel Prize, she was very sad that she could not write novels. She got the Nobel Prize for her short stories. So novel, I'm told, is something which is difficult to write. But it is NB who perhaps discovered the novelist in me, if there were a novelist in me. Till that time, my writing experience was only in writing notes on the government files, nothing more than that. Now I started writing, and NV saw a few chapters of the novel, and then he decided to publish it serially in one of the most prestigious magazines of those days. Even now it is Kungumam. That was my first novel as such. It is about that novel that Nirmal has given her opinion here. It was written in Malayalam, but then it was translated into various languages, including Hindi. It is a Hindi version which Nirmal Kaur has read and presented here. Then there was no looking back, if I may say so. So we had a carping critic at that time, the literary horizon of India, Professor Krishna Nair. He knows the entire world of literature, and he's very, very, very carping in his style of criticism. Certain writings, he will say, this is a pest in the field of literature. That was the vehemence with which he started discouraging writings which he thought is not up to the mark. So I was very scared. What will be his views about my novel? He gave 2 paragraphs of complimentary words about my novel. That gave me confidence that I can write. Then I started venturing into short stories. I wrote about a short story in the background of my life in Calcutta. That was also complimented by Professor Krishna Nair in his regular literary review column. Emboldened by this, I thought, why not write poem? It struck me. The poem which I first wrote was on Iphigenia, a theme which nobody will normally think of. Not even I would have thought of that. It just happened to me. Iphigenia has nothing to do with Kerala. Iphigenia has nothing to do with Indian culture. Iphigenia is from Greek culture. Iphigenia is the daughter of Agamemnon. Agamemnon was a generalissimo, the commander-in-chief of the Greek army which is going to invade Troy in Iliad's Odyssey. And yes, Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Now, There was a moment of moments in the life of this great general. The spiritual masters told him, if Greece has to win the war under your leadership, you have to do a sacrifice. What is that sacrifice? You have to sacrifice your daughter Iphigenia. Look at the emotionally charged moment which a father has to take. You choose between a nation or your daughter. And this proud Greek soldier, he opted for the nation and he sacrificed his daughter. That was a moment of moments which I thought one of the surcharged emotional situations in world history. I wrote a poem on that, a theme which is alien to the local psyche, but that was also received well. And then there was very prolific writer, especially a person who was well known for his children's literature, Mayali Madhavan Nair. He once told me, Bose, you should keep on writing in all genres of literature. Don't get confined to novel or poem or short stories. Keep on writing dramas, anything and everything. Then only you will find where you stand. So I kept on and on writing. And fortunately, there were publishers for this. That explains my foray into the field of writing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose. But again, my question is the same question I'm asking. Fine, when you are a collector, you might have got some time. But when you are promoted and getting more and more prestigious as well as very time-consuming positions in the bureaucracy, at that time, how you are getting time to write? Can you just give that mantra to get the time so that others will also get the inspiration from you?
I would say stress and strain helps creativity. The better things within you come out when you are under stress and strain, because creativity is a release from this. Therefore, I find that when one is under great stress as far as time is concerned, when one has a lot of work to do, that is the time when the creative best in you comes out. And once you write, once you speak, I think the stress and strain goes down. Therefore, the creative restlessness is not real restlessness. The creative restlessness is the pang before birth. See, like the labor pain. Something good is going to be born. Naturally, there is a pain before that. So I think, as the Acharya of Malayalam literature, N.V. Krishnavairy said, time does not matter. It is a mind which matters. And another facet to the question, this is something, writing skill or talent or whatever it is something which has, Justice Sariak Josji said here, that is something which is inborn. See, I come from a rural background. Sariak also comes from a similar background. In fact, we are in the neighboring villages. And his family are also great speakers, writers, thinkers, intellectuals. And, so he knows it best how life was centered around various activities related to writing and literature. See, I did not have a fan in my house at that time. Most of the houses did not have a fan. Fan was a VIP at that time. There was only one fan, which was a VIP, which will be used only when very important persons come there. Once they go, the fan will be switched off. And air conditioner was something which was not even heard of. And fridge was not even in the consumption of people at that time. Then, almost every house in Kerala will have a veranda around the house. Chuttu veranda, we call it. It has a function. In extreme summer, all the menfolk and the seniors, they sleep on this veranda. There is no fan, I said. There are some man-made fans are there. That is the only thing with which you can combat heat. So we were a small family, as I said, We were only 8 in number. 8 was a small family at that time because the common norm was that every family will have 10 or 15 children. My younger brother, Sukumar Bose, he had a penchant for humor. He once said, my great-grandfather asked the local Ayurvedic, our family doctor, is it okay for women to have children after 35? Is it okay for women to have children after 35? And the cranky medico replied, no, not at all. 35 children are more than enough. He misunderstood it. So after that, the number of children have come down. So we had only 8. So these 8 brothers and sisters and elders, almost 15 of us, will be sleeping on the veranda at night during summer. At some stage, my mother or my grandmother will say, don't waste time blabbering, children. Start Andakshari. In Kerala, in Malayalam, it is called Asharasloka. Immediately, one of us will start a stanza from a well-known poem. The first letter of the third line, another person will speak on. Like that, this literary baton will pass from hand to hand, mouth to mouth. And so for that, we children had to go from library to library, learning new poems and enriching our experience. That is time when even Justice Sirikji has done that. See, we had no internet at that day. Internet was not even born in the minds of people. So we had to go from library to library. And in Kerala, the library movement was making big headway in those times. From one village, we'll go to another village and collect whatever materials is available. So this introduction to literature was made by the mothers and the grandmothers. I think if you see, those generations in Kerala are either writers or those who readers, or in any case, somebody who will be having an affinity towards literature. I think I also owe it to my humble rural background, which encourages reading, writing, and the foray into literature. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose. Paucity of time. So last question to you. Dr. Bose, we hear a lot about the freedom of expression. And there have been controversies about writers and artists trespassing the so-called limits laid by social morality. What are your views about this? After all, you are a writer. We would like to know your views about that, Dr. Bose.
I do not want to play the role of a cultural policeman, but I do not approve of art for art's sake. So for a long time, the whole literary world debated art for art's sake or art for life's sake. I am very much of the view it is art for life's sake. The spontaneity of expression is something which is the fundamental right of an artist. Nobody can play with that. But what is spontaneity? Literary spontaneity is different from constitutional spontaneity or legal spontaneity. I want balance in society. So when we speak of poetry, I think even now the most accepted and acceptable definition is poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It is spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, Wordsworth. And Hudson has said, a true poem is born out of life. A true poem is born out of life. And Philip Sidney said, look into your heart and write. All these things come together. In the pithy expression, definition given by Shakespeare, what does a poet need? What does a poet do? A poet gives to airy nothings a local habitation and a name. That is function of the poet. That does not mean that a freedom of expression transgresses the fundamental rights which is guaranteed by the Constitution. That doesn't mean that your freedom of expression transgresses what is laid down in the Bible or in the Mahabharata or in the Quran. That does not mean your freedom of expression can transgress the balancing act of society. I think your freedom to swing your hand should stop where the other man's nose begins. This way of denigrating culture, denigrating society, denigrating the rule of law is not acceptable. That does not mean the freedom of expression. The freedom of expression means the spontaneous overflow can be there, but you are also, artist is not above society. Nobody is above society. So society cannot do the moral policing, that I agree. But the artist also has got a duty to himself, a duty to society, a duty to culture, a duty to civilization. I think within the confines of that, within the confines of good life, an artist should have enough freedom of expression. I think stretching it beyond a point to cause social revolt or cultural decadence is not the function of an artist. Therefore, I'm strongly, decidedly of the opinion, it is not art for art's sake. art for life's sake. Art which is not rooted in life has no relevance as far as humankind is concerned. I think that dichotomy which is portrayed by some of the literary critics has to go. There should be a balance between the artist and the society in which he lives. Art is not to destroy society. Art is to purify society. Art is to chasten society. Art is to ennoble society. Art should lead to the emancipation of the readers from the clutches of the wily and guily aspects of life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bose. Now, before we will close our program, we definitely would like to invite our Honorable Justice Joseph once again, and we would like to ask him, request him to give his final words. Honorable Justice Joseph, please.
I think Srimati Nirmal Kaur made a very valid and important point when she said that Mr. Bose may be a Hindu, he may be a Christian, and he can be anything because he is a very good human being. I think that must be the punch. I want to say, I want Bose to write a book on Vigarna, so that, you know, Vigarna is more known among, I don't want to discuss, but Vigarna is one among the 100 Kauravas. In the court of Duryodhana, he was the only one to stand up and say that what we means their Kauravas as a group, what we do to Draupadi is wrong. Draupadi asked two questions to the assembly, to court. Can a husband pledge his wife in a game like this? Has he got a right? Nobody could say yes. So everybody kept quiet, including Bhishma, Dronacharya, and everybody kept quiet. She asked the second question. If even if a husband has a right to pledge his wife, can a person pledge somebody else's wife in a place? And she reminded them, I am not only the wife of Yudhishthira, I am also wife of the other 4 Pandavas. But then none of the Acharyas stood up or said that yes, let her go. Not. Duryodhana was insisting that she is my slave from now onwards, because Yudhishthira failed. He was defeated in the game. It was then this single fellow, Vigarna, who stood up at some corner and said, Acharyas and brothers, what we do is wrong. Draupadi is right. Draupadi is right. What we do is wrong. You know, and all others shouted him down. Then he said, I am not a party to this. He walked out. At least we must be able to do that. That is when you speak about correction. My point is, all dramas, poems, plays, everything was, novels were written about Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjun, and all those. Karna. But did anybody write a poem, or did anybody write a novel or a play about Vigarna? That is the tragedy. That is the tragedy. I hope at least Mr. Bose will consider writing something about Vigarna so that he becomes a more popular character in the Mahabharata. Now, so we want more Vigarnas today. That's why I'm saying. I'm saying we want more Vigarnas today. Miss Abraham, of course, she had the privilege of translating or editing his books, so he knew it well. She, what I noticed especially was how the way she explained the skill of Mr. Bose to write, the skill to write, his skill of writing that he has explained. That is a very important aspect. And when you put questions to Ananda Bose, he said a very important thing. Of course, time is no problem if you have a mind to write. I have heard his this earlier also from Bose, because I also wanted to write but somehow, maybe I don't have the mind. I don't know. I have a desire. I will tell you, I have a desire to write certain things, but somehow I don't maybe get the mind. I am not able to. Time also I am not getting, but I don't know why. Something is wrong with me. But I try to emulate you. Let me see whether I can write. Not try to become a prolific writer like you, but certain things which I want to write to share with the society. Maybe you do that. But it was a very interesting revelation he made. He said, I have noted that stress and strain help me to write. Stress and strain, they promote creativity. Maybe because I don't have stress and strain in life, I am not able to write. I don't know. So let me see what happens in the thing. So this is a very, very interesting revelation. Stress and strain help to write. Question about freedom of expression. I think speaking about him, I said it at the beginning. I'm happy, I'm glad that he has declared his policy, which I had, that's how I understood it. But I was very hesitant to put it in so many words. But he himself has put it those words. But I say, I had said, literature is not only a means of expression for him, it is a tool for him to educate, inspire. In other words, he has said now, I don't believe in art for art's sake. Art for life's sake is acceptable to him. That is what exactly I said about his tool. And at the same time, he has cautioned that he doesn't want to be a cultural policeman. And that is the right understanding of the freedom of expression and in our constitution. And when you speak about this, people who speak about art for art, literature for literature, on all those things, I ask one simple question. I'm not asking anybody. I am asking this question in the air. These people who claim or assert their right to criticize anything and everything, write about or speak about whatever it be, or not only about Puranas, religious books, individuals and persons and all that. I can use my freedom of expression. I can write about Prime Minister, I can write about President, I can write about Chief Minister, whatever it be. Why is my freedom of expression? Have you ever noticed that these are the persons who are least tolerant in our society about criticism? They are not able to stand criticism. They are not able to subject themselves to criticism. If somebody criticizes them, they will take you by your neck. This is it. So therefore, this freedom of expression is a very tricky thing. Even those who plead for that, it has to be freedom of expression, as Mr. Bose said. Yes, my freedom ends where his freedom starts. If we respect for the other man's freedom also, yes, there's no problem in my exercising my freedom. I think we had a very nice, informative and illuminating discussion on the contributions of literary contributions of Dr. Bose. I must appreciate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Justice Joseph, and for giving your so much time and giving your views on the literary contribution of Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose. Thank you very much, Dr. Miss Nirmal Kaur. Thank you very much, Miss Vela Abraham, and thank you very much, Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose.